Welcome to Too Old, Too New, the music discovery podcast that brings you something old, something new, something Nate, something Bruce. I'm Nate Runkle, host of the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast, and with me, as always, is my good friend Bruce Warren from WXPN.
Yo.
The premise of this show is simple. Each week, we bring you two songs apiece. One new song that's been metaphorically spinning our turntable platter, and one old song that we believe still absolutely matters.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I should add that to the t-shirt. That should be like on the back of the t-shirt or something.
All right. Next version.
That's right. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. You?
Pretty good. You know, I'm overbooked right now again with interviews for the podcast.
That's great.
One of them just kind of ghosted me today. So normally it would upset me, but because I have a full a full release schedule, I'm quite kind of actually thankful for it. So.
How much time do you put into booking all these guests?
I'm usually a feast or famine guy. Sometimes like I'll set up a bunch in a row, spend some time like going out and back and forth. But what happened this week was literally every single person that I've talked to in like the past month was like, I can do this week in March, and I was like, oh, so can everyone else.
Well, you squeeze them in.
That's right. That's exactly
what you do,
right.
man. That's what you do. Yeah, we have a similar thing. Like we have in our minds when we book the bands for the World Cafe. We have a ranking. Obviously, priority names, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We like to try to take our time booking even the bigger names, the more popular artists. The ones that many people would go, oh, they're a no-brainer. But we like to listen to their music, a little bit. Even the new records from bands that we know, we like to take our time and try to figure out, like, what's the there. The performances are always going to be what they are. But really, because it's an interview show, we like to spend a little bit of time, have the producers get their insight, have the hosts get their POVs, So, but then every once in a while, something will come up and I'll be like, let's book that as soon as we can.
Right.
Like there's just some things you just kind of know, right?
Yeah.
But
well,
we spread them out, we spread them out. It's good.
It's crazy because like, kind of very similarly, like I don't want to interview someone who has a new release that I haven't really got a chance to like dig into that new release. You know what I mean? Like, but also I understand from their perspective, hey, I'm trying to promote this fucking record, like, so, and I understand that opening weekend and the week after is pretty much what you got. And then it's on to the next one, with most people. But that's why I do like to put some space in there. I do like to come back and be like, this has been out for a while. So like, I like the postmortem. I like a postmortem conversation with someone.
Yeah. I a bunch of years ago, I started thinking about bookings outside of like the cycle, right? The new product cycle. Because, the nature of fandom has changed so much. It's more than just new album, new project, tour, movie, and wait a year or 2 years before the next cycle starts. And I think, true fandom is 24/7, 365, So there'll be times when, we're very aggressive about going after an artist, particularly an artist. Let's say, for example, The National. I'm just using them as an example. We like to be in the conversation when the release of that album happens, right? Because we're going to offer something different than all the other media outlets are going to offer,
right?
Most of the time. But then, not all things can work like that. So if there's a big band that we might not talk to until about 2 months, 3 months after the release of a new record, their fans are listening to their music every day, So I've kind of instilled that a bit in the team, at XPN, to sort of think about fandom being a 24/7 thing, and that it's more than just a cycle. Although what's interesting is that PR people are getting paid for the cycle.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So on believe me, I fucking get how it works, you know. But on one hand, it's like, listen, we need more time, or you know what, we're gonna pass, but then maybe we'll come back to it, you know, like because that's the other thing, you know. Did you ever listen to a record one day and go, I don't like this record, and then like in the right context, you have you know, a light bulb goes off, and you're like,
Yeah.
how did I miss this the first time? Like, you know, and I'm sorry, you know, you know, it doesn't always work with the cycle or the people who are getting paid to work the cycle. But you know, the nature of the business has changed a lot. So, it's how I sort of think about things sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, but, but
It's
I'm glad
funny that
you,
okay.
sorry, I was going to say, I'm glad you're in feast mode, as
I
they
am.
say.
It's funny that you mention, you know, songs like "Growing on You" because I feel like XPN is really good at that. In that there are songs that'll play that the first 2 or 3 times I hear it, I'm just like, yeah, it's a good song, whatever, you know, like it's fine. And then like like a month later, I'm just like, why did I not listen to this album more? Like, what am I doing? Like a big one for me, and actually showed up on my top 25 list of last year was High Country by Daniel
Mm,
Donato,
mhm,
which is absolutely incredible. And like,
mhm,
I enjoyed it. I didn't not like it, but it just
mhm,
never really like clicked. And then, you know, after hearing it a few times, and I think it was right around when you guys named him Artist of the Month,
mhm, mhm.
or Artist to Watch.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh, I get it now. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's, you know, you get it. That's sort of the thing. We have music to talk about.
yes, my friend.
I
Why don't you
I
go
do
first
believe.
with your old pick?
Okay, so something really weird happened last week. I was, you know, scrolling through the interwebs, and somehow landed on I think it was someone's Substack post about R&B from the late 70s. And one of the songs they had was a song called Funk You Up by The Sequence that came out in 1979. It was on Sugar Hill Records. And um, and this was before. So one of the members of the band was a woman named Angela Brown. First of all, they were all female rap group, hip hop group, and one of the persons in the band was this person named Angela Brown, who later went on to become Angie Stone, right? But this was like a few days before Angie Stone had that unfortunate car accident and passed away last week. So it was really, really weird that I kind of stumbled onto this. And then I'm driving into work on Monday morning, and I'm listening to Kristen on WXPN, our morning show host. And I tune in right as she's playing Funk You Up by The Sequence. And when she came on to do the back sell, Kristen said, like, you know, that's The Sequence. Very unfortunate news to hear that Angie Stone passed away. And I was like, what? I had no idea Angie Stone was in The Sequence. So it just sort of like was a, you know, one of those interesting, oh, wow, musical history moments. Unfortunately, very sad. I mean, Angie Stone's like fucking unbelievable R&B singer. But this, I figured, let's play this. Take a moment to pause. Rest in peace, Angie Stone. Angela Brown, as a member of the Sequence, they had this pretty rockin' tune, and it was called "Funk You Up." I mean, come on, it does not get any more classic than that, right?
It's incredible. I knew nothing. I like you sent it to me and you said, you know, Angie Stone was in here, and I was like, what? That doesn't sound right. I was like just even like age wise, it didn't like click in my head. I was like, is that
Yeah,
right? And then it was like, damn, yeah, that is right. Like,
yeah.
wow. What a great track though.
Yeah, it's a formative I mean, it's a formidable track. You know, it's like, just do it. Just do it. Like ultimately, all that shit went on to become sort of cliche because it was just overused. But like, they were at the forefront of this shit. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I listen to this now, you know, when I heard the song last week, I was like, wow, this song, because it was so in front of everything else at the time, still it sounds timeless, you know? And even though you know all the phrasing, you know, all the rhymes, you can kind of predict the rhyme patterns. It's just like fucking shit just slays me still. And yes, rest in peace, Angie Stone, who again, great R&B singer. Very sad. Very
Yeah,
sad.
it's super sad. Like I heard someone say that they saw I guess on the socials someone shared footage from because she was on her way to a show.
Yeah,
And like shared footage of like the audience finding out and like that's just it's so tragic and it's such a
yeah,
sad story, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row. I guess a couple big R&B. Jerry Butler, Angie. Hey, it's it's a wacky world. You
It
know.
is, and speak like other people who passed, David Johansen,
Yeah, David
that bummed
Joe.
me out, like especially because they just had that entire article, talking about his struggle going on and all. I was really hoping that there was more time to it, but
Yeah. I saw a David Johansen show. I never saw the Dolls, but I saw a David Joe show when he put out his first solo album, which is one of my very favorite all-time albums. And I almost played a song from that album, a song called French uh, because I love that album. I remember when that album came out, I just listened to it over and over and over again. But I saw him play a show in Philly. Do you remember where the old Tower Records used to be on South
South
Street?
Street, yeah.
So before it became Tower Records, it was a venue, and there I saw some great shows at the venue. I can't remember the name of it. I saw Chaka Khan there, and I saw David Johansen there once. The Hooters opened up actually, and it was one of the loudest shows I ever saw, like ever, ever, ever. More louder than like My Bloody Valentine the last time they were in Philly. Anyway, yeah, rest in peace, David Johansen. Everybody, it's tough.
Yeah, it's wild. For my old pick this week, I decided to stick in the R&B kind of neo soul kind of area. Always been an enormous fan of Erica Badu, and the song that I picked today is a rework of a Todd Rundgren song, and it reunites her with her ex, Andre 3000. They have a child together and whatnot. Miss Jackson, I believe, is about Erica Badu.
Mhm.
But man, when they work together, holy shit, do they make beautiful music. So I wanted to this is like probably someone was talking about Erica Badu songs and their favorite Erica Badu songs. This is low key probably my favorite Erica Badu song, just because the dance between the two of them vocally, the Todd Rundgren rework, everything about it is perfect. And I'm just gonna let the music speak for itself. This is Erica Badu featuring Andre 3000, and this is Hello. It's beautiful. It was for the longest time. It was my alarm clock sound. I used to wake up to just Erica on repeat, going hello, 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 hello. But man, it's just a vibe. I just
Do
absolutely
you
loved it.
remember what albums that's from?
It is on. It might even be a mixtape, but the album is. But you can't use my phone. But
Okay.
it's all about communication. Every
Wait.
song
Oh,
is.
that's right. That's right. It was on that hello, 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 hello. Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that now. Yeah. I kind of forgot they did a cover of this.
Yeah, it's great, man. And like, what about like? It's just a perfect song. Like, it fits them both perfectly. The vibes there. Like, man, I love those two.
Hmm.
And Andre
Well,
raps on it in the beginning. Which, if
right.
you're missing Andre rapping, this is from 2019. This is like, this is a scarcity getting
Yeah.
Andre to rap like this.
So, you just gave me an idea for a set of music on my show next week.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right, I like it. Now,
That's,
now
that,
everybody's gonna have to tune in to see what
that's
it
a
is.
groove. That's a groove. Actually, you know what? I'm this Saturday is International Women's Day. So I am actually taking the day off because we're turning the airways over to the ladies to play the ladies.
Oh, nice.
And but I'll be on Sunday morning on for Sleepy Hollow. So
Okay.
different time, and definitely a different vibe. So
Yeah. How do you prep for that? Like, do you got like does it take a little more to do a little Sleepy Hollow than it does to do the Bruce
yeah,
Warren experience?
yeah, for sure. So Sleepy, well, I'll let you describe what Sleepy Hollow is, Nate.
I like to call Sleepy Hollow the you you have something you have to do, but you want to listen to music, and it's an early in the morning vibe. Like it's just to me it's a perfect sunrise kind of show to give you, nothing that's going to scream in your face, but everything that's going to ease you into your day.
That's a beautiful way to describe it. I work at the station, so it's easy for me to describe it, but I always love to hear people talk about, what Sleepy Hollow is to them. But yeah, I usually say like, you're waking up, you want to ease in, grab a coffee or a tea or a beverage or an orange juice, read the New York Times or read the comics. It'll set you up for the day. So it definitely is a more expansive show, musically, breath wise. So I have to pull out a couple different folders from the brain, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Little jazz, little jazz, not too hard drums, soft drums,
Yeah.
you know, not crazy bluegrass, but we're not afraid to play banjos,
Right.
you
Well,
know.
it's funny because talking about the waking up, the other way I would describe it is if you're up, like you said, drinking your coffee and you're reading the paper and you want something on, but the rest of the house isn't up yet. This isn't going to wake them up. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
also a great
if
way
you
of
want to listen to
describing it.
music and not wake everybody else up, there it is.
And for those of you who don't know what it, are not familiar with it, it's been on the air at WXPN for 50 years, and it's on Saturday, Sunday morning, 6 o'clock to 10, and it's a vibe. It's a vibe, and it's a very intense. Got a very intense, very loyal audience. So I will know if I go a little too hard right or I go a little too hard left. And we have these conversations. I'll be like, okay, can I play this Neil Young song? Definitely no. Definitely no. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. And
Yeah, I
Chet Baker, yeah, it's funny. I tell programmers sometimes, when in doubt, play REM. You always bring people back with REM. But when I tell people who are programming Sleepy Hollow, I say to them, when in doubt, play Miles Davis or Chet Baker.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All
I
right.
love it.
There you go.
That's one of the things I love about the station is like shows like Sleepy Hollow, shows like Johnny Meister's Blues Show and stuff have a fan base to them. Stars End, like have a fan base that if you fuck with that, they'll let you know. You
Hmm.
like, it's great.
But I'll tell you, Nate, I'm enjoying my partial retirement because I am no longer on the end of those comments.
Yeah, that's got to feel good.
Not that I
That's
don't give a shit about the audience anymore, because I certainly do. But I'm not the guy who has to respond anymore. But I do think about that a lot, actually. It's funny, right?
that's great. That is great. That's somebody
Anyway,
else's inbox now. For new,
yes.
so my whole project of trying to listen to as much new music as possible
Yeah.
and just indulging. I forget what I'm at right now for the year. I can actually tell you. I have this
Ooh,
sheet right here. I have listened to a total of 137 new albums this year.
that's unbelievable.
And this is
Wait.
yeah,
Albums.
albums,
Albums.
EPs. I'll throw EPs in there
Okay.
too.
All right.
But primarily albums, yeah. And this is from an EP that I heard a few weeks ago, Sight Unseen. It came out, it hit my inbox, and I was like, all right, let's go, let's see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And I obsessed over it. I listened to it so much. The EP is called Protective Pain. The artist is Greta Isaac. And Greta Isaac was part of a kind of super group alongside Orla Gartland and Dodie and Martin Luke Brown called Fizz, a band that I knew nothing about. But when I found this Greta Isaac album, sent me back to Fizz, and now this Fizz album from like 2023 absolutely floored me. I'll have to send you one of the songs from it. Like sonically fucked my head. But so did this Greta Isaac album or EP. The lead track off of it is called "Stuck on the Ceiling," and that's what I'm going to share today. Because it's one of those things that kind of starts off one way, and then by the end of the track, kind of expands into this sonic explosion.
Mm-hmm.
that plays on the theme of the musical theme of the song. But take a listen to this. This is my new pick, "Stuck on the Ceiling," and just listen to how interesting some of the instrumentation is on this. I have a type.
Wow.
I have a type of what I love. No, man, like it's a headphone banger, man. Like that is if you want to veg out and just kind of listen to something that'll take you away. Check out Protective Pain. Man, is it good.
That's a very intriguing sounding. You've definitely piqued my curiosity. That
Yeah,
is very interesting.
you got to
That is
check the
very
Fizz out too.
interesting.
Fizz,
So
man.
wait a
Wow.
second. I just Googled Fizz because you mentioned Orla Garland, who I'm a huge fan of, but I
Yeah.
never knew that Orla was in this other group. But I just Googled Fizz, and sure enough, there was a picture of the band, and sure enough, there is Orla Garland.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like it's like a Mandela effect or something. I don't know how this happened because everybody I've mentioned it to, no one seemed to know that this existed.
Wow. Well, that's a nice discovery there, dude. That
Yeah,
is
I liked
very,
it.
very good. Thank you.
Speaking of nice discoveries, you have something that I hadn't heard before you sent it, and much like this, I was just like, "Oh, this is a me thing. I love this 100%."
It is what it is. The band's called Free Range. They're from Chicago. Um, they put an album out a couple years ago. I don't remember listening to it, but they have a new album on the way. It's coming in March. Lead singer's named Sophia Jensen. And, indie folk ish sort of, it's not Americana, but the pedal steel, which is lovely, kind of gives it its country edges, or gives it its Americana edges. But Americana means so many different things to so many different people. I'm more inclined to label this sort of like acousticana because there's like a lot of acoustic instruments and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, this is just a beautiful song. It's honest, it's conversational, and it's called Storm. Like, this is a band that I could see like playing Newport Folk Festival and just like people going crazy,
Yeah.
And I want to hear Sophia sing anything. Like, I just love their voice, So
Yes.
sometimes simple and straightforward and honest just packs a wallop,
Sure
you
does.
know?
Three chords and the truth. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah, I like when I hit play and the pedal steel started, I was just like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Here we go. Let me buckle up." Like, god damn, it's good.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
good. Yeah.
As always, these songs will appear on our Spotify playlist linked in the show notes. You can find us both on the socials. Bruce is at Some Velvet Blog on most stuff. I'm at Yo That's My Jawn on most stuff. You can find us on Substack, or you might be watching this on Substack. Who knows? I don't know how you ingest this. As a matter of fact, in the comments, let me know how you prefer your two olds and your two news, in your ears or in your eyes. You can hear Bruce mostly every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WXPN, but not this Saturday because this
Yeah.
Saturday is on Sunday for Sleepy Hollow. What's
Yeah.
the Sleepy Hollow hours?
6 to 10.
6 to 10.
6A,
And
baby. I'll be there bright and early on Sunday morning.
that's excellent. And you can hear me normally on Why Not Radio every other Monday. I was just on, so 2 weeks I'll be back on. And a new episode of the Yo That's My Jawn podcast will be out on Monday or Tuesday, depending on who edits it. Oh, me. That's right. It's an interview with Lauren and Gabe, the director-producer team who put together this 9-part HBO documentary on the Celtics called Celtic City.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I said to them, I led off, I'm like, as a lifelong Sixers fan, I feel like I had to eat shit to watch this documentary, but it's really good.
I'm sure it is really good. I mean, the fucking Celtics were
They
are
were.
one of the greatest basketball teams ever, and
Yeah.
and still are.
It's amazing because and like I will champion this documentary. They do not shy away from the racism of Boston
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I'm sure.
And it's just a very strong doc. It's they're doing an episode a week. I think episode 2 will be out next Monday. It
Oh,
just
so it's out now.
yeah, the
Oh, I
first
gotta
episode
watch
just
it.
aired this Monday.
You know,
Really enjoyable.
I went to see the Celtics play Sixers 2 weeks ago, and the Sixers got their fucking asses kicked. It was just
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. And I think there were actually more Celtics fans at a Sixers basketball game than I've ever seen. It was just unbelievable. But that sounds
Dark
great,
times.
Nate, and I'm definitely going to check it. But Nate, I pulled out my calculator
Yeah.
for a minute when you said you listened to 138 albums or and some of it, right? So I did some hand waving math. So you've listened to like 15, 1600, 1700 songs.
Yeah.
That's a lot to process, man.
And that's just new stuff. I mean,
That's
like I'm
new
still
stuff,
listening to
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
It's great, man. I work at a desk, and what am I going to do? Not listen to music? You know what I mean?
That's okay.
Put it to use.
More power to you.
Put it
love
to
it.
use.
I love it.
As
All right,
always,
man.
I thank you so much for doing this, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Peace.
Come on, come on.